Hello, my name is Deuce Rasick and I'm the School Resource Officer here at Libertyville High School. Today, I'm going to show you the procedures for a school lockdown. For those of you who are unfamiliar, a school lockdown is a means of securing the building and its occupants from both internal and external threats. There are 7 steps involved to a school lockdown. Step 1. Look into the hallway and bring in any students and staff. Teachers, upon hearing the lockdown alarm, you should check the hallways outside of your room. Have those students and staff members in the hallway immediately enter your room and close your door. Please keep in mind that the classroom doors are default locked. Students should enter the nearest classroom that they are directed towards. In the absence of a nearby classroom, you should secure yourself in the nearest room as soon as possible. Or leave the building if you are near an exit. Please keep in mind that if you leave the building, you may not know the location of the threat. Please exercise caution. If students and staff are outside of the school when a lockdown has been initiated, do not make any attempts to enter the school. If you see the exterior lockdown strobes activated, leave the area until you've been notified by officials that the area is safe and secure for you to return. Step number 2, close the door and make sure it's secure. Please make sure that you pull the door closed. The fob-activated locks will only function for 30 seconds after a lockdown is initiated, which will provide the user a short period of time to open an already closed door with your fob. Once 30 seconds have elapsed, all fobs will be deactivated until after the conclusion of the lockdown. Step number 3, close the room's blinds. Closing the blinds prevents threats from seeing possible targets, both directly and by reducing the amount of ambient light inside the room. This also makes the room appear as if it is empty. Step number 4, turn off all lights. Like step number 3, turning off the lights reduces the chances of being seen by a potential threat. If a threat can't see you, the likelihood of harm is reduced. Step number 5, find the blind spot or safe corner of the room and away from the door. Staying away from the door and out of sight in conjunction with steps number 3 and number 4 reduces the likelihood that you will be detected by a threat. It may also reduce your chances of injury should a door be breached. Step number 6, silence cell phones and stay off cell phones. Although you may be tempted to use your cell phone, doing so may increase your risk of harm and place first responders at a disadvantage. It is important to silence your phones and stay off them. If a threat can't hear you, it can't find you. Additionally, if a large number of people use their cell phones at the same time, it can overload the cellular network and obstruct communications for first responders. Please stay off your cell phones. Step number 7, be prepared to blockade the door if needed and be prepared to fend off anyone penetrating the room. There may be a need to blockade the door. There are many ways to do this, whether it be by placing furniture such as desks and bookshelves against the door, or binding the door arm with a belt. You should use whatever objects you can to block the door as effectively as possible. In a lockdown situation where a threat is present, the police will make every effort to arrive at the scene and stop the threat as soon as possible. However, there may be a need for you to take action prior to police intervention. As a last resort, if your door is breached by a threat, you have every right to take whatever measures necessary to protect yourself. Use whatever items you have available. These items can include books, Chromebooks, staplers, etc. Protect yourself with whatever means you have at your disposal. Now that we have gone through the steps to a lockdown, let's review. Step number 1, look into the hallway and bring in any students and staff. Step number 2, close the door and make sure it's secure. Step number 3, close the room's blinds. Step number 4, turn off all lights. Step number 5, find the blind spot or safe corner of the room and stay away from the door. Step number 6, silence cell phones and stay off cell phones. Step number 7, be prepared to blockade the door if needed and be prepared to fend off anyone penetrating the room. I hope that this information was both informative and helpful. By following the proper procedures, we can greatly reduce the risk of harm should a threat arise. Now, ultimately, prevention is our greatest asset. Please notify LHS staff should you ever hear of any threats directed against the school and its occupants, even if you believe it may be a joke. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much for your attention and please be safe.